students, welcome to this next lecture in which we will discuss about basic elements of machining and the tool geometry for single point cutting tool. Now in this lecture, first of all, let us understand which are the basic elements required for machining. So now for that, let us draw a simple figure to understand this concept. So first of all, suppose we have one workpiece available and on this workpiece, suppose with the help of one tool we are removing material in the form of the chips. So here you can see that the first thing, that is the first important part for machining required, that is the workpiece. Now to remove the material from the workpiece, the second important part required, that is the tool. And with the help of the tool we are removing material from the workpiece in the form of the chips. That means the third important element for the case of machining, that is the chips. So this is the third element which is called the chip. Now here you can see that the first thing, that is with the combination of workpiece, tool and chip, final machining operation is performed. So these are the three main major important machining elements that are required to perform machining operation on any of the machine tool. So this is the basic detail about the case of machining. Now this machining process can be done in many variations, from which the main two important machining different processes, they are the first method of machining, that is the orthogonal machining, and the second method that is used for the case of machining, that is the oblique machining. So let us understand first of all what is orthogonal machining. So to understand this, let us have a look at, so on the figure, the first point over here you can see that the workpiece which is shown over here and the cutting tool which is indicated by this black color. Now this workpiece and cutting tool, these two are perpendicular to each other. That means if the workpiece is available in this particular position, at that time the tool is provided perpendicular to this for removal purpose. Similarly, here you can see that this tool removes the material from both sides of the workpiece very easily. That means this tool covers entire face of this workpiece for removal of the material. And in the case of orthogonal machining, only two forces are considered, and that's why this particular orthogonal machining is called as the two-dimensional machining process. Whereas in the case of oblique machining, you can see that this cutting tool is inclined by certain angle with the workpiece, which you can see over here. If the workpiece is placed like this, then this particular tool is provided at certain angle which is not 90 degree. That means in the case of orthogonal machining, the cutting tool and the workpiece are at 90 degree, whereas in the case of oblique machining it is other than 90 degree, means it is inclined at certain angle, and that's why it is called as the oblique machining process. And in the case of oblique machining process, there are three different forces are considered to understand that machining process, and that's why that process is called as the three-dimensional machining process. So just keep this two words in mind, one process that is the orthogonal machining process and the other process that is the oblique machining process. And these are the two different methods used for the machining purpose. Now the next important topic, that is the single point cutting tool. Now in our previous lectures we have discussed about, in single point cutting tool the material is removed with the help of the single tip. Whereas in the case of multi-point cutting tool, multiple tooth are used to remove the material from the workpiece. So now how this single point cutting tool is designed, what are the important parameters in this single point cutting tool, that we will discuss step by step in this particular topic. So first, let us have a look at the single point cutting tool shown over here. Now as you can see in this figure, the main tip is shown over here, which fed towards the workpiece and starts removing the material. And now to understand this 3D figure of this single point cutting tool, we will divide this 3D figure into 2D parts, that is its front view, top view and the side view. And for that, first of all, let us have a look at the first important view, that is the front view. Now as you can see from this particular direction, let us say it as front view. And in the case of front view, if you see the 2D view over here, which I have highlighted, this is similar that I have drawn over here. So this first view, that is called as the front view. And this front view gives us the detail about certain important angles that we will list over here. Now as you can see, this particular tip, that is nothing but the cutting tip. So it is called as the cutting tip. And here you can see that this only portion helps to remove the material from the workpiece, whereas this backhand portion just helpful to hold the workpiece or to hold the tool during machining operation. So the back portion which is shown over here, this back portion is called as the shank. And this shank is helpful to hold the tool during machining operation. And this bottom portion on which this entire tool is resting, and that's why this bottom portion is called as the base. Now similarly, another point that you can see over here, if we draw a horizontal line from the tip of this cutting tool, this horizontal line makes a certain angle, this with curved line. So first of all, this curved line is called as the face, and another inclined line indicated over here, it is called as the flank. So these are the major important first basic parts to understand, to define certain important angles that are made on this single point cutting tool. Now see over here, as you can see, this horizontal line makes a certain angle with the curved face, and this angle made by this horizontal line, this angle is called as the back rack angle. So the first important angle, that is called as the back rack angle, and this back rack angle is mostly useful for the cutting purpose. Now similarly, you can see over here, if we draw vertical line, and this vertical line makes a certain angle with this flank, and this particular angle is called as the end clearance angle. So it is called as the end clearance angle, because now if you see, if the workpiece is available over here, at that time when we move this tool from bottom to topward direction, what happens, it starts removing material from the workpiece. So this particular angle provides the clearance from the workpiece, and that's why it is indicated as the clearance angle. Because if it is not provided, if the case is like that, if this clearance angle is not provided, then what happens? This tool directly rub against the workpiece, and due to that what happens, there is only a friction between this tool and the workpiece, and there are no chances of removing material from the workpiece, and that's why this clearance angle is most important for cutting operation. Now let us have a look at another side, that is the side view. Now if you see from this particular side, so if this is the front view, this portion will give you the side view. So now as you can see the side view, similar figure you can see if you draw this particular portion. So this is the major portion that you can say or that you can see properly from this particular figure. So this view is nothing but the side view. And now if we list most important angles over here, you can see that from this both particular side, this is the side view only. So if you draw a horizontal line and consider this entire figure, this first horizontal line makes the angle with this particular line, and this angle is called as the side rack angle. So it is another important angle which is known as the side rack angle, and similarly this flank makes an angle with this inclined line, and this angle is called as the side clearance angle. So these are the two another important angles that are required for proper machining operation. So in first, let us further summarize. If horizontal makes a certain angle with this face, then this angle is called as, yes, it is called as the back rack angle. Similarly, if we draw the vertical line and this vertical makes the angle with the flank portion, then this angle is called as, right, this angle is called as the end clearance angle. Similarly, another two angles, that is the side rack angle and this side clearance angle that we have listed over here. Now if we consider the top view, and for the case of top view, let us see the figure. This is the portion that you can see from the top portion. So here this is the top portion, and in the case of top view, again if we simply list the important parameters, first this back portion helps to hold the tool, and that's why it is called as the shank. And this is the cutting tip, and this cutting tip has certain curvature, certain radius, and it is called as the nose radius. So it is known as the nose radius. Similarly, as you can see over here, these are the two major cutting edges. This is the first one and this is the second one. So these two are the major cutting edges which helps for the cutting purpose. So first, if we draw the horizontal line over here, and this horizontal makes a first certain angle with the first cutting edge, and this particular angle is called as the end cutting edge angle. So it is end cutting edge angle. And similarly, if we draw vertical over here, this vertical axis makes a certain angle with the second cutting edge, and this cutting edge or this particular angle is called as the side cutting edge angle. So this is the side cutting edge angle. So these are the main 6 important angles that one must need to cover to understand the single point cutting tool geometry. So again, if we list the first angle that we have discussed, that is the back rack angle, which is mostly indicated as alpha B. Similarly, the second angle, that is the side rack angle, and it is indicated as the alpha S. The next angle, that is the end clearance angle, and this angle is indicated as theta E. The fourth that we have discussed, that is the side clearance angle, and it is indicated as the theta S. And the another that we have discussed, that is the end cutting edge angle, and it is indicated as the CE, and the side cutting edge angle, it is indicated as the CS. And the last important parameter, that is nothing but the curved portion, that is the nose radius, and this nose radius is indicated as the small r. So these are the important geometrical parameters that are available in this single point cutting tool. And this single point cutting tool has the different tool signatures with which we can indicate all its parameters. So there are mainly 3 different variations available, or 3 different tool signatures available, or tool nomenclature available, which we can indicate these important parameters. So from these, the first one, that is the American Standard Association system, that means ASA system. This ASA system is indicated by the 7 sequential parameter, that is first is indicated as alpha B, the second one that is alpha S, next one that is theta E, theta S, CE, CS, and the R. So as we have listed in our previous slide, alpha B is called as, what is the name of this alpha B? Right, this alpha B is called as the back rack angle. Next, alpha S is indicated as the side rack angle. This theta E indicates end clearance angle. This theta S indicates side clearance angle. Similarly, this CE indicates end cutting edge angle. So this is end cutting edge angle. Similarly, this CS indicates side cutting edge angle, and this R indicates nose radius. So these are the 7 important parameters with which this tool signature can be indicated. That means, let us have an example. If the tool signature is given as 10 degree, 8 degree, 7 degree, 7 degree, 5 degree, 3 degree, and 2. That means this 10 degree indicates back rack angle, 8 degree indicates side rack angle, this 7 degree indicates end clearance angle, this again 7 degree indicates side clearance angle, 5 degree indicates end cutting edge angle, this 3 degree indicates side cutting edge angle, and this 2 indicates nose radius, which is always in the form of mm. So nose radius unit is always considered as the mm. Now the next important tool signature or the tool nomenclature, that is the orthogonal rack system, that is indicated as the ORS system. Now in the case of ORS system, there are again 7 parameters, but the indication of this parameter is different. So over here, this first I indicates inclination angle, this alpha indicates end rack angle, this theta S dash, this indicates side clearance angle, this theta E dash indicates end clearance angle. Similarly, keep these two parameters in mind. This CE indicates auxiliary cutting edge angle. So it is indicated as auxiliary cutting edge angle, and this lambda indicates approach angle. So it is denoted by approach angle. And over here again this R indicates nose radius, and which is always considered in mm. So these are the two main important tool signature or the tool nomenclature. First one is the ASA system, and the second one, that is the ORS system, and that is how one can define this single point cutting tool geometry. So in this lecture we have discussed about the first main basic elements of machining, second different methods of machining, that is orthogonal machining and the oblique machining. After that we have discussed about the single point cutting tool geometry and which are the important angle in this single point cutting tool. And at last we have discussed about two major tool nomenclature or tool signature system, that is ORS system and the ASA system. So looking forward to see you all in our next lecture. Up to then, thank you.